Hello friends, welcome to TMXing Adventures. Lisa here. Today I'm going to get ready for a camping trip that we've got coming up. Now we've already prepped some food for it using most of the recipes out of my awesome Fill the Freezer ebook. You can check that out on my website. But I'm now getting ready to make lunches and snacky food that I'll freeze and then get out to defrost each morning for the time we're away. Zucchini slice is one of these recipes I use as a base, but I tweak it and change it, okay, because it doesn't need to be, in my opinion, as complex as it is. So I use it as a base, but I make it my own. Now say hi if you're watching on today, and if you've made this recipe, I'd like you to claim that and go, yep, I've made it. So comment on if you are on, like I'm on live to Facebook now, comment and say hi if you're watching on. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, welcome. So we're using a TM7. I do love at the beginning of this, on the screen, I can change serving size. So if I just want to make a small portion, I can make 6, I can make 8, or I can make a 10. Now I'm making a big one. The family eat a lot these days, okay? And they're going walking for a couple of days as well, so they will be needing a lot of food. Excuse my million flies today. The warmer weather has brought the flies. So preheat your oven, grease and line a dish. I've got mine up the back with some baking paper ready to go. Then we're going to place some cheese. Now it says cheddar cheese. I've just got an extra tasty block here. So, and it says 130 grams cut into pieces. So now this is a recipe that you do not have to be particularly precise on. So if you're a little over, a little under, swapping things, it works beautifully. It does have bacon, but my vegetarian friends watching on, you can skip that out. And I'm going to skip it today too. So you can just modify it to make it what you want. Okay, 140. Now, normally it says to chop it and then put it aside. I'm going to save myself the hassle and just continue on, okay? So I'm going to go skip. But this is also for 2 reasons. One is I'm not cooking off my onion, and 2, I'm not cooking off bacon. Okay, so this is why I'm changing it up. If you're putting bacon in, putting onion in, you want them cooked down, you gotta take your cheese aside, okay? Next, place some zucchini, 400 grams. Now let's talk about zucchini. Did you know you can freeze zucchini? So we were gifted a massive amount of zucchini lately, big, huge ones, which I'm so grateful for, organic and all, from a local farm down the road. And they were like, what are you going to do with them all? And I'm like, I'm going to freeze them. They don't come back fresh if you were to use them in a, I don't know, a raw salad or something, right? They're not fresh. They don't come back fresh. They lose their water. But in cooking, for making like zucchini and chocolate brownies or slice, or making things like our brekkie circles, which we use, 200 grams most mornings, or in something like this, they're perfect. So all I do is I slice them into approximately 1 centimeter bits, like so. Oh, they are a little frozen together. That one's a bit skinny, more like that one, 1 centimeter. And I then just put them in the freezer in big Glad bags. You can see that was a big one, right? So I cut it in half so the blades had a better chance. After they've been in there for about an hour, hour and a half, I get the bag out, give them a shake to break them up so they don't stick together too badly, and then leave them. So they work amazingly. We've had zucchini fritters with them. They're just beautiful. So 400 grams coming straight out of the freezer. I do not let them defrost, okay, because they're just going to go to a soggy, watery mess, okay? So I don't actually let them defrost. I know what'll happen. It'll just be a mess, but doesn't matter for what we're cooking. It's fine. So 400 grams. Now I'm not going to put all 400 grams in because I'm actually going to chuck. Well, maybe I will. I'm looking at a big serve. The more the better, right? A little bit more. We will do the 400 today. Now, if you have a carrot in the crisper kneader you're using, or broccoli stems, or something like that, you can use this in this recipe. Do not feel like you're stuck with just zucchini. I actually have a homegrown cucumber that's cucumber? No. Other C letter word, capsicum. It's a bit small to do too much else with. So I'm just going to cut its little wings off. If I had lots of these coming in, I'd roast them up and put them in some oil and preserve them. But being that it's a little tiny one, we'll just put that in to be chopped. Then I'm also going to take the chance to put in some purple onion that was looking sad in the fridge. I don't think I've got any carrots, so I'm not going to put carrot in today. Now, sometimes there's an ingredient in this recipe that stops people making it, and it's coming up in a second. So I'm going to talk about that in a moment. So 400 grams of that. Now grate it down. So we are ready to grate it down when I can see my lid. So we've got all of our dry ingredients in. You want to grate it down before you get to the wet ingredients. Otherwise, it becomes really hard. Just finding this. It becomes really hard to actually get a nice grate on it. Now, because we have the cheese and all those veggies, which is more than what the original was, we're going to need longer than 5 seconds. But let me do 5 seconds. Let me show you what it's like. Oh, and I have frozen zucchini, right? Which is like little ice cubes. So that won't be enough. But let's have a look. You get an idea. All right, you can see it's roughly chopped. Let's go again. So I'm actually going to increase the speed up to speed 5. I'm going to put 10 seconds on because generally I feel like that's about what I do. I sometimes just... I was going to say... I don't know what I was going to say. Oh, I sometimes would just manually do this recipe, okay? I wouldn't necessarily stick with guided. Look at that. We're nearly all grated. Now I can see a little bit of zucchini left, so I reckon another 5 seconds. So we'll bring that back up. Don't need 10 seconds. Let's just go 5. Speed 5 is our chop, right? If we're making a salad, if we're... That sounds good. So that was what I wanted. Speed 5 is generally a chop. If you chop a salad too far, you will get a mush, which is actually probably okay in this recipe if I wanted, but that's actually what I want. So I'm good with that. So now I've got this beautiful diced up mix of yumminess. So now we go next. Now it says transfer aside with the cheese, and we're not going to do that because no one wants to dirty another bowl. Next, place onions, bacon. Now what I have done sometimes is, obviously you saw me use purple onion. When you use purple onion, it doesn't need to be sweetened by cooking it off like a brown onion. Okay, so if I didn't want to spend extra time doing this, I would actually just not use a brown. I'd use a purple onion like I have today. Now talking about bacon, you could be putting in leftover shredded chicken from a roast. You could dice up some leftover beef that you've had over the weekend. You can put ham in. I even put bacon when it's raw sometimes. Today I'm skipping out all meat. I'm going to go next. Normally it says chop. We're going to skip, scrape down the sides, and then it normally cooks because you've got onion and bacon in there, right? Next. Here goes. So this is the final stretch. This is how easy it is. Eggs, 6. I actually have 7 because I have a bantam egg in there. And I pre-crack them because you don't want to see me cracking eggs. So in they go. Now, rice flour. Once upon a time, I would follow these recipes to the rule book, and I would mill down brown rice or white rice at the beginning and make rice flour. But over the years, I have learned you do not need to do that. You can just use plain flour. Now I've got this packet that I want to use the rest of, and I've got some more. So we're going to just tick that off. I think I'll need the second packet. I've been just looking at this pack, wondering whether someone was going to finish it. So I guess I'm the one today. So if you don't want to mill down, by the way, you could just use, like this is gluten-free, right? But just use plain flour. It is nice with the rice flour. My kids used to call it fried rice slice. So with that rice milled down, it really does throw that beautiful fried rice flavor. But when you're in a hurry and you don't have the capacity, just use flour, plain flour, okay? So 130 grams. In this goes. Now coming up next is salt. Now you know the magic ingredient in a savoury dish when it says salt, it actually means veggie stock paste. We know that, right? So it says 1 pinch, which means we do about half a teaspoon, not too much, of our veggie stock, okay? It's easier to add salt to a dish later than wish to take it out. So that's why we go half a teaspoon, because it said a pinch. So we kind of want 4 times a pinch. And then a pepper, which I can't see. Can I see it? Yes, I can. So just, it says a pinch, so we'll just do a little grind. But I'm also going to add something different to this because I can see something sitting in front of me, which I'd love to use up because it was from when I did the Thermomix consultant roadshow in Brisbane a little while ago. And I got up on stage and did a demo presentation, and I had to cook the Marry Me chicken pasta, and I needed Italian herbs. Not something I'd normally carry. I normally just mix my own, but I'm keen to get it off the rack of herbs because my rack is big things, not little things. So that's going to go in too. So you can just play with your flavors. Now it says add the grated cheese and zucchini back in, which we never took out. Hooray for that. Add some oil, important step. Now, Some people have a little mini heart attack over the oil. In this recipe, it is your equivalent of butter in baking. Now you can pull it a little short and it won't make too much of a difference. If you leave it out altogether, you won't love it as much, okay? So it kind of gives it a weird flat texture kind of thing. So you can go a little short, but not too much. But don't, as I said, it's like butter in your baking. We're doing kind of a baking because it's a slice, right? So it's like melted butter. Okay, next. Hello, Kalinda. Lovely to see you on today. This is a great one for also lunches for the term ahead. Could be for school or for work. As I said, we're going camping, so I'm going to freeze it. I'm going to let it cool, slice it, then freeze it individually so that the kids can just take a portion. I like that it's got quite a bit of nutrients in it, right? So 6 seconds, reverse speed 4. Off this goes. Okay. Into my dish. I think we're nearly done. Pour the mixture into the prepared tin and bake for 30 minutes until golden brown. Now, if there's some that is not combined still, just give it a little mix. No big deal. Now, this is not going to, it's going to get fluffy for a moment when you get it out of the oven because eggs have a natural tendency, and if you've made what did I show you the other day, like lunch frittata with the roast veggies, if you've made that, you would see that when you got it out the oven, it fluffs up, and then as it sits on the bench, it sinks. Similarly with this, the plain flour does hold it a little bit. It gives it some stability, but not a massive amount, okay? So you are going to see it rise, slightly sink. Not as much as the frittata, but definitely it does lose its fluffiness, which is good because you actually want it to be relatively flat anyway. So you don't want it to be like a big puffy cupcake. Oh, I think I'm going to have to make the zucchini chocolate muffins now that I said that to you before. They were not on the to-dos this week, but yum. It's been a long time. I used to, years ago, run who's been around long enough to have been to my house, my old house, and done a workshop with me? And we used to do a Vorwerk workshop before the days of Cookidoo, before the days we had TM5, had the little magnets on the side for some of that. But we used to do a Vorwerk one, and in the Vorwerk one, we would do steamed pudding over the top of, what did I have underneath? Was it a soup? We actually put a sweet over a savoury, and it worked beautifully. And it's been a while since I've done those cupcakes. I think that the original recipe calls to go in the oven, but it was a workshop, particularly on getting more out of your aroma. So look at that. That's going to go in the oven 30 minutes. Actually, you know what? I put it on for 40. So whether that's because I run it a little higher, I'm not sure, but I find 40 is what I need at 180 till it's golden brown. Serve hot or cold with a salad of choice. And it literally looks like that photo when done. But if you check out on YouTube tonight, you will see the final product on YouTube because it is the beginning and end of these videos. So I hope this has inspired you to make something new in your Thermomix if you've not already made this one before. It is a classic. It is worth having in your repertoire of things you can confidently and easily do with your Thermomix. If you want to get a TM7 on your bench and you live in Australia, reach out. I'd love to help you regardless of where you are in Australia. I'd be honoured to help you get one on the bench and support you to get the most out of it. And if you have questions about recipes or something you're making, please don't ever be a stranger. Head over to my website and just find my details over there. Send me a message. There's a little chat function. Happy to talk recipes, happy to chat about what you're making, hear from you. I always love to know what you're doing with your Thermomix, regardless of what model you've got. I hope you are inspired, and this can be made any model, okay? But otherwise, have a fantastic day. Take care in all you do, friends, and I can't wait to see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.